Hi, my name is Ben Rogers, and I serve on the Linn County Board of Supervisors. I was first elected to this position in 2008 at the age of 28, and I ran in large part because there were not young people in elected office, either in the city, the county, or the state level. And because I'm from here, I went to school at the University of Iowa and chose to stay here, I wanted to make sure that young people had a voice at the table, that whatever initiatives were being proposed, that their perspective helped influence policy. And so I've been asked to sort of weigh in on two issues, to give my definition of the purpose of government, or what is government, and then what the role of citizens should be within that government. And so for me, my own definition of government, or its purpose, is to create parameters for everyday behaviors for its citizens. Oftentimes, governments are tasked with protecting their citizens from outside interferences or externalities. And no matter the size of government, I think at the end of the day, trying to improve the citizenry's quality of life and socioeconomic well-being is of a very high priority. And so that's really my guiding light of what government is. And there's governments of all different sizes that I'm sure you're learning about, ones that are as small as little home ownership associations that have rules on what you can and can't do to your house or your backyard, or putting up a fence without getting guidance and permission from a board of directors, to city and county and state politics, all the way up to the presidency. Government really exists to help protect the interests of citizens. And oftentimes, I'll give the county as an example, we are oftentimes what I call the safety net for the safety net. So if businesses or nonprofits can't provide the services or don't exist to provide the services, it's oftentimes government that has to provide these services. And oftentimes we are the difference between someone living on the street or getting an apartment or transitional housing. We are the difference between people being able to pay their rent or not. And in many instances, people really need government because either businesses don't provide that level of service or the nonprofits aren't able to serve. And so government provides critical, often overlooked functions that unless people interact with it, they may not be aware of it. And that sort of leads to my second point. And the second question is, what is the role and responsibility of citizens with their government? I'm really fond of a saying, decisions are made by those who show up. And that doesn't mean just voting. I think voting is maybe one of the easiest things people can do in terms of making their voice heard. What's really difficult and challenging are attending meetings, emailing a representative of yours to let your voice be heard or your position on a policy to be known. It's not uncommon for us to pass a $150 million budget, having done several months of open meetings for our budgets, and not one member of the public is telling us whether we're making a good or wrong decision. And we'll oftentimes pass a $150 million budget in an empty room. So your engagement matters, and particularly young people are less likely to get involved in politics, to contact their representatives, and in turn, representatives may not then put a lot of weight into what young people think. This is a participatory democracy, meaning it's a two-way street. You need to let officials know what your views are or how you would like to see things changed, and then representatives need react to that. And so that was, again, one of the reasons why I ran for office, and one of the reasons why I highly recommend that no matter what level of engagement you feel comfortable in doing, that you at least engage somehow, some way, to make your voice heard, to make your opinions known, and to really push forward initiatives that are important for you, whether you plan to stay here or not. Oftentimes, these decisions are being made by other people with other interests, and that's why I think citizens' roles in government is critical. It's important to make your voice be heard. And again, I go back to the saying that decisions are made by those who show up. And so you can either choose to or not. And if you don't, that's okay. But you can't be upset then if the direction of your community is going in a way that you don't agree with. And so I can't advocate enough for people to get involved in politics, local politics especially, as your day-to-day interaction with local government is more profound than your day-to-day interaction, let's say, with like your federal representatives. So I highly recommend putting the decisions are made by those who show up to the test. And the worst thing that can happen is that someone tells you that your idea can't be done. The best thing that can happen is that that idea gets legs and becomes policy and changes the trajectory of a community. I've seen it happen, and it's a really wonderful thing. So I encourage you all to get involved in any way, shape, or form, whether it's local, state, national politics, because again, decisions are made by those who show up. Thank you.